Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Haut Beyleron here in Farming Simulator 22 with me, CWATTY. It is the start of a lovely brand new morning here on the middle of March. I've just been to the beehives and sold my honey. I'm now making my way back to the farm. Not a lot occurring. I got my field fertilised off camera with oats, the one field I seeded in the last video that needed fertilising. So that's all done. There are no weeds yet on any of my fields, so that is all good. Not having to worry about that issue at the moment. What I am going to do today is I'm going to do some cultivating contracts, basically. And there's a whole load. There's a load. Especially in this area of the map down here. So 25, 26, 27, then there's 28, 29, 30, 31, I think 36. There's plenty of contracts for me to be getting on with. Now I've decided to borrow the equipment for one of the contracts. And I'm going to use it for all of them. Basically. It gives me a chance to test drive something a bit bigger than what I've been using so far in the series. And I should be able to make quick, short work of all the contracts. What I want to do today, what I would like to do today is earn enough money so that I could buy a tractor. I want to be able to buy my own tractor. I want to be able to return the Massey Ferguson that we're currently leasing, and I want to be able to buy and own one tractor to cut down on my leasing costs presently. Okay, now I'm just checking on the chickens that they're all okay with their food and stuff. I don't have to worry about egg selling because the eggs get sold automatically with the fancy Stevie egg selling placeable thingy. They've got plenty of food. They've got plenty of grain. They're quite happy. Don't require any cleaning up actually. So yeah, they're happy little fellows. Right. Over to the store then. Right, we have got massive, huge cultivator. A John Deere 9RX. This equipment has been leased for the purpose of cultivating field 26. However, I'm going to be using it for quite a few more fields than that. Because if I just do field 26 with it, they're going to charge me $3,000 for leasing. Okay, for leasing the equipment. So I need to do enough contracts that I cover that $3,000. The field itself was paying $9,000, field 26. However, like I say, we will lose $3,000 of that now for leasing the machine. So I need to do enough contracts today that we pay for the leasing of this machine, and then we make enough money that, as I say, tomorrow in game we can go out and buy ourselves a cultivator of our own, a tractor of our own, our first owned tractor, excluding the little classic ones that obviously are just for decoration at the farm. We don't actually really use them for anything because they're a little bit small and pathetic. But yeah, I'm going to be getting into a few of these fields today, smashing through the contracts. We're going to start all the way over on the west side of the map. West side? Well, I think that's what the cool kids used to say back in the day. West side? We're going to start on the west side of the map with field 25. We're going to do field 26, 27. Then we're going to cash in, collect the money for fields 25 and 27. We're going to leave 26 active because that's what this tractor and cultivator belong to. We're then going to take the contract on field 28, 29, do those, collect the cash for those, then do the contracts on 30, 31. You get the picture. We're going to work our way through and basically do all the fields on this bottom portion of the map. Because there's loads of them. Get that all done. Then there probably will be, from tomorrow, there'll probably be a few, there'll probably be a fair few seeding contracts then. Sowing contracts, which we will be able to do with our fancy Kverneland seeder. So that will be nice. Get a few of them smashed in as well. And then we'll be rocking from there. So yeah, I want to go this way. I want to go right here. Give myself plenty of room. Now, one thing I want to quickly mention today at the start of this video is, have you heard the news about Farm Sim 22? Or more to the point, have you heard the news about giants being caught in F-bomb shocker? I don't know if you realise this, but if you've listened to any of the in-game radio stations, the Giants radio stations, the ones that just loop and play the same half a dozen tracks over and over and over and over and over again, the in-game radio stations. I won't put the radio on because obviously I don't want to get copyrighted and copyright strikes and stuff, so I can't actually show you in-game. But basically there is one of the Giants music stations in the game. I've forgotten the name of it now. Let me quickly tab back to my desktop and find the name of it so I can report the correct information to everybody. It is the La Musique radio station of all the Giants radio. The Giants radio stations are the Classical Radio Network, Country Roads FM, Dassy Work, La Musique, the Queen's Rock Palace, and Tropicalismo Latino. Those are the Giants radio stations. Those are the ones which are basically playing music files from your installation folder, okay? They're not the streaming internet radio stations. So these radio stations, the Giants radio stations, are available on to console players as well as PC players. And they're available to everybody basically, and you can listen to them whilst you're doing your farming and stuff. Okay. Well, the La Musique radio station happens to have one song in it called, now again, let me get this right. We're going to La Musique folder. There is one song in there called The Wind Will Blow by Nick Kershaw and Paul Clarvis. Okay. And there are lyrics in that song which are, well, basically, it's the F-bomb. It's the F word, which is rather remarkable. Because obviously Giants has got... Giants has put that music in the game, which contains, you know, one of the most explicit swear words in the English language. Probably number 2 on the list, right behind the C word. And Giants have put it in the game, yet the game has been rated, obviously, by the video games rating company as being E for everyone. I wonder if the rating board knew that that song contained F words. Because if it did, the game would have got a higher rating. Or Giants would have been told to remove that song from the game. So yeah. Interesting that little children all over the world playing this game are being subjected to naughty language. Giants, F-bomb shocker. I can see this tractor's got a manual gearbox. Weird. I didn't think I had manual gearboxes enabled. Right, we're going to need a bit more room to turn around, Mr. Tractor. So, can you just come down here, please? Way too many pieces of articulation on this. Giants F-bomb shocker. Bet you didn't think you'd be waking up to that today, did you? I don't have the heart to tell them. I don't. I'm sure somebody will report it if it hasn't been reported already. Yeah. Go listen to it. You open up your, if you haven't listened to the song, open up your installation folder. Go into the data folder, go into the music folder, go into the land music folder and select the track. The Wind Will Blow, and listen to it. Got the F word in it, but kids. Which is weird, because like I say, when you get to the street, when you try to enable the streaming radio stations, you get a great big error, a great big message pop up that warns you that online stations have not been rated by the ESRB for the ratings board, the video games rating board thing. So Giants accepts no responsibility for any of the music or language that may be heard on those, and that's, you know, at the player's own. Basically, players' own discretion or whatever. But if they hear anything that causes offence on any of those stations, that's their own fault for listening to them, sort of thing. But yeah, for Giants to put a song in the game that has naughty words in, that's quite bad. It's not going to take me very long to do this field using this cultivator, is it? Might take me a little bit longer to do field 26. But yeah. Yeah, I'm just basically going to use today as an opportunity to smash out as lot of the cultivating contracts as I can to earn plenty of money. Obviously, we're looking to hit April. First week of April, we can then get soybeans planted on our one and only field that is still yet to have anything seeded or planted on it. And then we can kick back, look forward to doing the harvest then, the wheat and barley and stuff. And canola that we've got seeded already. Because that will soon be coming round then in the summer. I'm also hoping my grass is going to start growing soon, because it's still not grown, or it's not started to regrow after mowing it last year. So yeah, I'm kind of hoping, I was kind of hoping we would have been almost at a point again now in March where we might be doing the first cut of the year, but doesn't look like it. No. Obviously, this field is wider at one end than it is at the other, so it's going to take it's going to be a little, we're going to end up with a triangle basically to harvest on this, to cultivate on this field. We are. Yeah, everything's going nicely. As I say, I've been and done the bees. I've sorted out the cell trigger at the bees. I got rid of the cell trigger by doing what I said I was going to do in the last video, which was exit the game, disable the cell point mod. Load into the game so that the cell point gets deleted, then save the game, exit, re-enable the mod, come back in, and then what I've done this time is I've leveled the ground in that area, and then I've placed the cell point on the level ground. It just seems that for whatever reason Stevie's placeable mods don't do ground leveling. The placeable mods have got, like with the chicken pen, they didn't actually like self-level the terrain. They just kind of embedded in the terrain. So I think what I need to do, or what I need to get into the habit of doing, is making sure I level ground before I place an object. See how much area the object takes, and then level enough area put the object onto so that it sits properly flat on the ground and doesn't do anything weird. Because one thing we have learned is you can't change the ground after you've placed an object. There seems to be like an area of effect around placeables where the ground can't be edited and altered. So just need to keep an eye on that, because obviously you don't, when you're trying to edit, when you're doing any ground altering or any painting or anything like that, it costs a fortune. It's costing an absolute bomb. So I want to avoid picking up unnecessary expenses. I do, where I can. But obviously we're going to have to accept it when we come to do other things later on, like the cows, sheep, pigs, when we need to place those kind of animal pens and their properties. Because they require quite big areas. Their pens take up quite a lot of space. So we're going to have to flatten quite large areas of space. And then we'll be good to go. Right. Tell you what, I love driving a 9RX. Again, whether we ever get to the point in the series where I own something like this, I don't know. In my mind, I'm kind of, again, I would like to use different equipment on different maps, basically, and not use the same equipment on all of my Let's Plays. And I've kind of penciled in, like, Elm Creek, the American map, is kind of my, if you like, my John Deere map at the minute, because it's got all, I've got all John Deere tractors at the minute on Elm Creek, so I probably won't use any of them on this map. And as much as I like the X9 Harvester, again, I probably won't use that on this map. We'll probably go with Case or maybe Class, I think. Stick with Case or Class on this map. We could go Fendt as well, of course. We could go down the Agco road, the Harvesters. Not ruling that possibility out, of course. Yeah, just need to obviously be a little bit mindful. That we're not, that I'm not using the same equipment across all my Let's Plays. Because that would be rather boring, I think. Elm Creek might be the one odd one, of course, the odd map out. If I decide to do that, like as I say, as I was talking about a couple of videos ago, where I'm thinking of doing Elm Creek as my, when I do my daily start doing my day streams, once I've got room in my schedule, following when I've completed my Red Dead Let's Play, my Red Dead series, and I'll have 2 days a week then free to stream in the daytime. I'll probably do a series on the Alpine map, in which case then all bets are off on that, what equipment I use. We'll throw everything at that map and just go crazy. That can be the absolutely go nuts map. Go crazy, don't hold back, do whatever you feel. I mean, I've already been doing a bit on that map, as people, if you've watched any of my live streams, if you saw my live stream a couple of evenings ago, when the servers were having their issues, and you couldn't get on the multiplayer servers, I ended up spending an evening playing on the Alpine map, and I was creating fields on all the land around the farm that you get when you start on the Alpine map. I was creating fields on all that land. I was basically ploughing all the grass and creating proper fields on all that meadow land all around the farm. And then I'm gonna plant proper grass, which yields a lot more than meadow grass. And then I was gonna do like a serious dairy operation, like a proper, you know, full-on dairy operation, cow operation. Multiple cow pens, loads of mowing, silage making, TMR making, you know, full on. Let's be cow farmers type deal in that series. So currently I'm driving around, I think it is in an 8RT or a 9RT. One of the two. Because I'm doing all the ploughing, I'm doing the stone picking. So I needed a big machine with plenty of horsepower to pull, obviously, big equipment that can speed up those processes. On the Alpine map, I am using the Cultivator Create Field mod, so I can create fields using a cultivator, and then I'm basically pulling something like this, but I'm actually able to make fields with it as I go, which is great because it obviously creates fields a lot faster. However, when you go into the map screen and you go then check the status of your field, your soil composition, it tells you that it needs ploughing. So it needs ploughing after you've created it, basically, and it needs lime. So you've still got to do that, but it's much quicker when to create a field using a big cultivator. Plus you can get nice straight edges and square edges and level edges using a cultivator than you can the angled plows. So what I've been doing is I've been going around creating the fields with the cultivator. As soon as the field's created, I've been having an AI worker then go around doing the ploughing behind me, doing the ploughing, doing the lime spreading, and I've just been going ahead. And as I say, at the moment, if you can picture the Alpine map in your minds, there's an area of land below the farm, there's an area of land above the farm, there's quite a bit of land to the left of the farm, and I've just been going through there, removing the grass that was already there, basically as I call it, the fake grass, the fake grass, the wild grass, and I've been making proper fields with the aim to, I'm going to plant and seed proper grass. And then I'm going to have to do all the fertilising and everything of the proper grass fields. And it's just going to be much, much better. We're going to be able to get tons of grass then every time we mow. So there'll be plenty of hay, plenty of grass, plenty of silage to be produced. We can do baling, we can do loading, wagoning. All manner of things on that map that I can do. This is quite a chunky field, isn't it? This field's a bit chunky. Field 26, it's a bit on the slightly on the larger side. A lot of these fields over here actually are on the larger side of things. That one over there in the distance on the hillside there, that's quite a big field too. I think I've said before on this particular map, where we've started over here, we probably want to be staying, and basically we want to get, by the end of the series, we probably want to own all the fields down here. I'm not too bothered about north of the river, if you like, but I would like to own at least all the fields on the bottom half of the map. I think that would be quite cool. I think that would be a nice target to have and aim for as well. We could own all the southern half of Haut Beyleron and use that for all our farming needs. You know, we get some of these big fields. We're in a position where we're ploughing these fields ourselves and working these fields ourselves, and all the crop that comes off these fields is ours for our profit. That'd be quite useful, because then obviously going back to the starting farm, these little fields then we can sort of do away with, and that opens up the opportunity then for me to either have more grass field, like maybe join a couple of these fields together, maybe like this 41 and 42, make a big grass field out of 41 and 42, maybe merge it with field 40, lose that little path, have a great big massive grass field here, and then on this bit of land we've got room for a cow pen and sheep, potentially, if we want to go down that road. Pigs are they're kind of an animal. I don't know whether to get involved in pigs or not, because they require, until we've got land capable of producing all the different foods that they need. And then the real kick in the teeth with the pigs is they need potatoes and sugar beets in their food, which then only counts towards 5% productivity. And I always feel that's Sugar beets and potatoes are a lot of work, a heck of a lot of work, just to get 5% productivity. It's almost better saying to yourself, you know what, I'm happy if the pigs are 95% productive. I don't really care that much about. And of course, I guess it depends as well what you're doing with the pigs, I suppose, in that regards. Are you selling the pigs? If they're reproducing, are you selling, you know, if you buy 30 pigs, are you selling all the pigs over and above 30? Or are you just making profit off the manure and slurry? Or are you using that manure and slurry on your own farm instead of fertilizer, saving money that way? It's a difficult one. Until you start again, it's going to be a while before we get to that. And then it really is going to, like, be a case of let's study the finances, let's study the numbers here, and let's look at this and see what is actually logical here to do, you know, with everything that the pigs eat and consume. Is the slurry and manure, bearing in mind you would need machinery, you'd have to invest in money as well on equipment to be able to spread slurry and spread manure. Is what you're saving on fertilizer, liquid fertilizer over time, is that going to outweigh the cost of actually keeping the pigs and, you know, all the crops, the price of the crops that go into their food? Because, you know, when they're eating things like corn, sunflower, soybeans, those are pretty expensive crops, you know, that fetch a lot of money at market if you're selling those. If you're feeding them to pigs, that's money you're losing. I mean, wheat and barley, you know, that's kind of neither here nor there, the wheat and barley. You know, that's not a terrible loss, I would say, because you tend to get quite a lot of wheat and barley when you're doing your wheat and barley harvests and your oats and things like that. They tend to yield quite well. I mean, soybeans doesn't yield great unless you've got a great big massive field planted with soybeans. So ideally you'd want a field like this sort of size if you're doing soybeans, to really get a good amount, a decent amount, and make a decent amount of money. So a lot to consider there, I think. And as I say, at the moment, I don't know, because I really haven't looked into it. I haven't got into really studying the game information. I haven't spent a lot of time off camera looking at that stuff. So at this moment in time, I'm as clueless as everybody else, I would say, when it comes to what animals are profitable, which animals aren't. I mean, I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that horses aren't profitable anymore in Farming Simulator 22, because you don't sell them for 50 grand anymore. I think they only sell for about 5 grand a horse now if you've spent all the time training them, riding them, blah de blah de blah. So you're not going to be making loads of profit off of horses anymore, even if you had a wonderful mod like Horse Helper from Farming Simulator 19 to do all that riding and training and that for you. I don't think horses are a great way of making money, especially as horses don't breed. So you can't breed horses. So if you start off with you buy 2 horses, over time, you're not going to end up with like 16 horses because they don't reproduce. So for every horse, you've got to buy it. Makes you wonder whether they're worth it. And I honestly don't see them being worth it in this game. Not on these maps anyway, not on these Giants maps. Now whether modders down the road will release maps where they've twiddled with the animal prices and made horses have a higher sell price, and you know, switch it back to more in line with how it was in FS19, then you know, then they might become worth keeping. I mean, especially at the moment, because horses I feel are a bit of are kind of in no man's land in FS22, because they don't have the same system that they had in FS19 Seasons mod, where you got paid for stabling the horses. So whilst you had the horses in the stable and you were feeding them and you were riding them each day and caring for them, you got paid every day a fee for how many horses you had, basically for keeping the horses alive and in good health. You got paid a fee every single day, you know, and you were basically running a stables, and people were paying you to accommodate and look after their horses. If they had that system in this game, yeah, horses might be worth doing. You could chuck a pen down somewhere with 16 horses in it and ride them and look after them, and if you got a decent bit of money each day for not killing them, then you know, that's all right. That's good stuff. But at the moment, like I say, I think horses are just a bit of a loss leader in FS22 because they have no sale value. And like I say, the amount of time it takes to ride them and brush them each day to keep them healthy, to keep them at, you know, tip-top health, and then having to feed them, having to provide them with straw, having to provide them with water, having to, you know, muck them out because they do produce manure now in FS22. They require, they're quite a time sink, horses are, which is to say why in FS19 we had the horse helper mod, because trying to do horses without that mod would have been just, you need to have someone full time just looking after the horses. I know in some multiplayer servers I played on, there were people that literally all they did was look after the horses. The minute they logged onto the server, they were riding the horses, and they did that until we logged off. You know, you had your people who did all the field work, and then you had the people that rode the horses. But in single player, you don't have that luxury. There's no way to hire an AI worker to go and ride horses, sadly, for you. You know, it'd be great if the you could hire AI workers to ride horses. But again, that's where, like, a horse helper mod comes in. But that's not available yet. And I don't know if it will be. I don't know if the people that made that mod plan to convert it and bring it over to FS22. They might be in the same position where they're looking at horses and thinking, they're not worth bothering with this year. My chickens are doing nicely though. My chickens are doing a good job. They're laying their eggs for me. They are. As I say, the eggs are getting sold every day. As soon as the chickens lay the eggs, they get sold. You might have already seen it a couple of times on the screen there. It comes up, harvest income every so often. Whenever they spawn a pallet of eggs, it's just instantly sold. So throughout the day, I get periodic notifications, probably one an hour, saying, hey, you've made X money from selling harvest income. And it's because of egg sales. It's because of selling the eggs. And obviously, as the chickens breed and reproduce as well, and that pen gets fuller and fuller, I think we can hold 635 chickens in that pen, I do believe. Once it's full of 600 chickens, we'll be absolutely smashing out the eggs every day. And then we'll be making, you know, that'll be just printing money then. In your face chickens. Yeah, it's nice. See, I'm changing gear now. I wanted to zoom in a little bit closer to my lovely John Deere tractor. A lovely 9RX. There's a good buddy seat, look. There's the cooler, the refrigerator behind the buddy seat. I remember when the Millennial Farmer had one of these machines last year for demo. He loved the fridge, the refrigerator, for keeping all his food and drinks cool. He also liked the massage chair. The chair had massage function and heating function and stuff aren't built into it. So all the time he was sat in it, he'd have it giving his back a rubbing, a nice massage and shiatsu treatment. As I say, this is the biggest field on the map to do, cultivating wise. All the other fields are smaller than this, pay a lot less than this one does, but this one leased the biggest equipment, so I figured it was best to take the equipment that this field was offering, and then I can use it to quickly then smash out all the other cultivating contracts on this bottom half of the map. That should earn me enough money to then, like I say, tomorrow in game buy a replace the Massey Ferguson, bearing in mind, of course, and this is something I've just considered. The tractor that we replace it with must have a front loader and must be capable of using all the tools and implements we've already got at the farm, including that seeder, which requires, I forgot how many horsepowers, but I will check it. The slightly worrying thing is, I've noticed, I had a quick look at the store earlier before I started recording, and a lot of the medium-sized tractors, or most of the medium-sized tractors after the Massey Ferguson in the store menu, don't come with the option to fit a front loader. So you have to then, and then if you go up to large tractors, I don't think there's any large tractors. Well, no, there's the 7R. I think the John Deere 7R can have a front loader attachment on it for, you know, doing like my silage shoveling, emptying my silage bunker, you know. That, which is what I'd want it for, and picking up the rocks after I've done stone collecting. So, yeah. if I buy a tractor and want to keep the front loader, there's a good chance I've actually got to go to a smaller tractor than the Massey. Which is a bit worrying. Because then I don't know if I can pull the seeder with it or the cultivator that I've got. So that's going to need to be checked before I just go and click and buy something. Another thing I want to check as well, when I return the Massey Ferguson to the store and I end the lease on it, is that Massey Ferguson tractor then going to immediately appear in the used second-hand vehicle section? And if it does, how much discount are they going to give on it, bearing in mind how many hours I've used it for on this save currently? How much are they knocking off it? Would I be able to buy my leased tractor back for less than the book price? Could I actually kind of pull a fast one and return the lease tractor, cancel the lease on it, but then buy it used if they put it in the shop sale window? And how much percentage would they knock off it? Because if they do that, it might be as good an idea for the benefit of having the front loader. It might be as an idea to buy the Massey if I can get it cheap. If they can, if I can get it for a used price, a second-hand price, it might be an idea to buy the Massey. Save the money, and then use the money I save to put towards buying maybe a large tractor down the road. Because obviously we've got the New Holland on lease at the minute, which has the skinny wheel option, doesn't it, to enable us to do fertilizing and stuff. Ideally, what we probably want to do is we probably want to get something smaller than the New Holland, just for the fertilizing side of things, just to be able to do fertilizing, spraying, that has crop-friendly tyres, doesn't really need a lot of horsepower, so we don't have to spend a lot of money on that. And then we probably want to get a large tractor to handle cultivating, ploughing, seeding, the big heavy jobs, do the heavy lifting. Kind of overlaps a little bit with the Massey, but the Massey can handle the equipment we've got now, but if we ever go bigger in the future and we start going up in, bigger cultivator, bigger plough, bigger seeder, then the Massey ain't going to cover that. The Massey's going to run out of horsepower, because I think it's only 325? I think it's only got 325, so yeah, the Massey is we're gonna hit the ceiling on the Massey fairly quick. So yeah, probably need to go. Probably going to need to get a large tractor at some point. And then, like I say, what we could probably do then is the New Holland tractor. Well, I guess with the New Holland tractor, I guess we've got the option there, because it's leased. If I return it, and then the store puts it straight in the used vehicle sale window, I have the option of buying a perfectly good tractor that we know does a great job at what it does, and saving a few pennies. And then we haven't got to worry about renting fees every single day, which, as the machine gets older and older and older, the renting fees are going to be stupid, because we're going to be paying the same renting fees all the time, but the machine's going to depreciate in value, and it's going to get more and more hours on it, more and more wear and tear, yet we're never going to pay lower leasing costs. So the quicker we can return it and buy it, the better we'll be. Because like I say, I don't have to repair the vehicle until I've absolutely run it into the ground, and I never have to repaint it. I never have to spend all that money repainting it. I don't care that much about the painted parts of the vehicles. So yeah, that's kind of the plan I'm thinking of for the next episode, which will be obviously end of March, and then obviously April we'll be doing seeding. I would like to think at some point in April we might get to do some mowing again. That would be very nice. Spring mowing, but that's going to require the grass to grow, which at the moment it's not doing. And then we'll kind of take it from there, I guess. But folks, we have reached the end of today's episode. I hope you've enjoyed it with me doing this very boring cultivating. all cultivating all episode. I'm now going to continue doing more cultivating for the rest of today. I'm going to carry on doing these contracts, and I look forward to you guys coming back in the next episode. So obviously do me the massivest of favours now, and make sure you've all clicked that like button for me. You've all subscribed to the channel and enabled your notification bell. You've left your comments for me, because I really do like reading your comments, and you know, I am enjoying the fact that we're getting lots of comments at the moment being left on these videos, so I've got plenty to read and reply to. And make sure you share the video everywhere. Make sure everybody you know watches it. Get everybody you know to watch the video, and that'll really help to get the channel growing that bit more. Like I said earlier on in the series, the minute the channel hits 1,000 subs, I'll be doing another giveaway for a copy of the game and the season pass. So there's an incentive for you to get everyone you know to like, subscribe and comment every single day. So folks, take care of yourselves, stay safe. I'll see you all again soon. Goodbye for now.